My legal name is, and has always been, Colton. As a child, I was backup baby. The concept of a backup child may be nothing new to you. Plenty of parents quite candidly admit to creating a second child to serve as a safety net, so that should something happen to the original child, the sibling would be there to fill the void. That is already quite a hollow and horrifying motivation for bringing a human into the world. And the purpose of my birth was far more terrible. I was born in 2005, 18 years after my brother, Colton, my namesake. In 2003, he had been diagnosed with juvenile ALS, a rare form of Lou Gehrig's disease, a sickness that degenerates one's motor neurons until all muscles have atrophied, until the sufferer can no longer breathe. Despite what you may be thinking, I wasn't created to provide spare parts for my dying brother. I have heard of parents doing such a twisted thing, but I was created to replace Colton, and not as a new person, as a carbon copy of him. Colton was their beloved son, and they sought a way of keeping him alive in some deranged manner. I understand why even parents as cruel as ours loved him so dearly. Colton was sweet, smart, and strong, that winning trifecta. He achieved greatness before entirely losing the motor function necessary to continue in his field, becoming a prominent medical researcher. I think he would have changed the world. Tales of my brother's greatness were ingrained into my mind from the moment I was able to form memories. Mother described Colton as a bright light that had very little time to shine on this earth. And I agreed with her. He was so immensely compassionate, wanting only the best for me, and I wanted only the best for him. I think, if it hadn't been for his disease, he would have been able to save me. By 2009, Colton lived in the city, fulfilling his dreams as a researcher in spite of his limbs and extremities stiffening. He would return home fairly frequently. Mother and father were quite insistent upon it, though they supported my brother's move to the city, wanting him to achieve grand things. My parents also wanted as much time with the golden child as possible. Around this time, when I was 4, my parents' intentions started to come to light. Colton was no longer around, and their true hellishness emerged. I had been Colton Jr. when my big brother was around, but as soon as he left home, "Back up, baby," father called. "Come here." As a naive boy at the time, I eagerly ran towards the pot-bellied man, thinking little of this new name. Backup baby sounded quite cutesy and endearing. "I'm looking over your report," the man growled as I stood before him, beaming, and I gulped, noting the stocky piece of white card on his lap, the sturdy school report listing results from recent tests, an A in English, and B's in maths and science. Father barked, "Next term I expect you to receive an A for each and every core subject." Do you understand, boy? A few months later, however, only my English grade had upped. I'd felt rather proud of that A star, but father looked incensed. "Sorry," I whispered. You'll come with me," the man finished for me, with a chilled edge to the instruction. Then father shot up from the sofa, seized me by the wrist, and yanked my screaming, squirming body through the lobby and towards the basement door. Within a moment, that man, who was supposed to love me, had transformed into a nightmare. It is my first memory of true terror, and one that pales in comparison to the hell which would follow. The basement door flung open to reveal a black cavity below our home, a place which had been beneath my feet for my first 4 years of life, yet no more than a door in the lobby. I hadn't ever questioned what lay behind it. To a child's eyes, untold hell hid in the basement's dark recesses, and nothing I would experience down there helped to quell that fear. "Mama!" I shrieked as father locked the basement door behind us, before shoving me down the groaning wooden steps. "What have I told you?" the man hissed as he shoved me more forcefully. I near tripped down the last handful of steps, scuffing my fluffy socks against the hard floor below. Then came a thump on the back of my head, which drew a few tears from my eyes. And finally, Father asked, "We are mother and father. Who are you, boy?" I sniffled. "Colton." That answer earned me a firmer backhand across the back of my crown. "Who are you?" he screamed as we stood in the blackness at the bottom of the stairs. All that existed in the void of a basement was Father's hot, sour breath against my neck. I croaked, head whirring from the force of the thump, then started to give the answer he wanted. "Back up. Baby," Father finished. "You are the continuation of Colton, but you are not him. You are a vessel." Father tugged a cord dangling from the ceiling to reveal a cluttered, squalid space. A dirt-smeared, unshaded bulb cast a grubby orange glow that Burrell,